everybody, this is Book Looms, and today we will be making Zelena from Once Upon a Time. Zelena is Regina's half-sister, and if you would like to make Regina, I have 2 tutorials for Regina already on my YouTube account. But today we will be making Zelena, who is the Wicked Witch of the West. For today's project, I will be using my Rainbow Loom bands, my Rainbow Loom, and my Rainbow Loom hook. I also will be using just a regular crochet hook to hold the pieces while we are working on the loom. So today, we will be using, I'll just be using some regular Rainbow Loom black bands. I will be using these Rainbow Loom Web Store Special. I can't remember what they're called, but they're this really pretty shade of green that kind of glitters for Zelena's skin. I will be using neon orange bands for her hair. And that is it. So those are the band colors you will need. Also, just one more thing you will need. You will also need 2 small pony beads. I am using these pony beads from Creatology, and this is the package that they come in. And they are 4mm times 7mm. And if you don't have beads, you could just use wrap bands for the eyes. So today, I have chosen to make Zelena just because in the episode of Once Upon a Time that is this week, Zelena is coming back to the show, and I'm very excited. I really like Zelena. I think she's awesome. I really like that she's wicked, she's evil, she's really cool. And it'll be cool to see her back. And I think she's going to come back for a good reason. So anyway, let us begin. So we are going to move our loom into the rectangular configuration. Like this. And the first thing that we will do is we are going to be making Zelena's arms. So I have my black bands, and then I'm also going to have my green bands. Okay, so let's start on Zelena's arms. So I will be using double black bands. So I'm just going to take 2 black bands, and I'm going to place them on both sides of my loom. And we are going to go down with the black bands 5 times. Usually I go down only 4 times with the color, but today we are going to be doing 5 times just because Zelena's boa is a little bit bigger than normal. And so that her hands will stick out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now on the other side we'll repeat. And once again, we're just using our double bands. And now what we are going to do is we are going to take double green bands for her skin. And we are going to place them here. And then we're going to take another set of double green bands. And we will place them on the other side. And now what we're going to do is we are going to take this band and we are going to wrap it around 4 times. Actually, I'm just going to do 3 times because these bands are a little bit tighter. But if you can get yours around 4 times, that is great too. Alright, so now we have our arms, and we are going to loop forward. And all we are doing is just making a single chain. And we are always looking for that teardrop shape. Okay, so now that we've got our arm, I'm going to take my spare holding hook, place it through, and now we have an arm. And now the same on the other side. And now we have another arm. So the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to make Zelena's dress extension. Now, in this video, I am actually going to be making 2 of these with you, and we're going to make the skirt a little bit differently. Just because I would like to see how it looks. I think it'll look better if we have 2 of these versus just 1 of these. So we are going to make this, and we are going to ignore this part for now. And by making 2 of these, our skirt will just be wider. So in order to make Zelena's dress extension, we are going to move our loom back into the regular offset position. So just like this. And what we are going to do is we are going to be taking our double black bands and we are going to be placing them 2 bands from here to here, 2 bands from here to here, and then we are going to go down 4 times. And now here, we are going to go down. And then once again on the right side. And now what we are going to do is we are going to place 2 bands from here to here and 2 bands from here to here. And now what we're going to do is we are going to make our capping bands. So we are just going to take 2 bands and we're going to stretch them across. And now we'll take 1 more band for our cap band, and we are going to wrap this one around 3 times, or 4 times, if you can get it 4 times. So now let's start looping. So I'm going to reach in past this capping band, and loop. And now I'm going to reach in underneath this band, and loop forwards. Now I'm going to loop these to the side again. I'm going to go forwards. And now we are just going forwards. So now what we can do here is we can go in, pull these to the side, and now go in and pull these 2 bands to the side. And now what we can do is we can take our holding hook again, and we are going to take all of this off of the loom. And now, here is our dress extension. And now what we're going to do, just to secure this, is once it's on our hook, we're going to take 2 bands, just like this, and we are going to pull our dress extension over. That way it is snug on our hook. So now we're going to do this one more time. So what we will do is we are going to take our double bands. We are going to place 2 bands here, 2 bands here, and now we're going to go down 4 times. And now in the middle. Okay, and now we have our bands that go across, so 2 bands are going to go here, and 2 bands are going to go here. And now we have our capping bands, so that's 2 bands laying across each 3 pegs on a diagonal. Okay, and now we have our capped band, and we are going to twist this around 3 times. And now we have our hook, and we are going to loop. So these first 2 bands, well, I've got 1 and it's going to go out to the side, and our other band is going to go out to the side as well. And now to the side. Now we're going to reach under and pull forward, reach under and pull forward, and reach under and pull forward again. And now we are just looping forwards, and we are always pushing back this capped band. And now we have this. So once again, we can take our holding hook, and just take all these bands off of the loom. And now we have our 2 spare bands, and I'm going to take this, pull it over. Oops. I'm going to start over. I'm going to pull. There we go. And now we have 2 dress extensions, and that will just give the dress a wider look than just this. So just one more thing that we have to do before we start working on our loom. We are going to make the 2 boa neck extensions. It's kind of supposed to be a boa, kind of just supposed to give her dress a little more flair to it. But we are going to do this, and then we can make the rest of our doll on the loom. To make our boa and our neck extension, we will be working on our rainbow loom hook. What I have done over here on the left side of my orange paper is I have taken out 12 pairs of double black bands. This has just helped me count so that I don't lose track of where I am, but you don't have to do that. But we will be using 6 pairs of bands for each one of these 4 extensions, and we are going to be putting the 2 extensions together. So let's begin. So I have my hook, and I'm going to take a single black band and I'm going to wrap it around 3 times. And now I'm just going to take 2 more black bands, and they are not from my pile, and I am going to place this wrapped around band over this, and I'm going to place it back on my hook. Now what I'm going to do is I have my 6 pairs of bands here, so I am going to take 2 black bands and I'm going to pull it over just this one, and I'm going to slide this back on my hook. And now I have my second pair, and we are going to slide this over just this, and we're going to place it back on our hook. And now we are going to do the same for our third, over just these 2 bands, place it back on our hook. Now our fourth, place it over just these 2 bands, back on our hook. Our fifth, place it over just these 2, and it might be getting a little tight. And then our 6th, we're going to place it over just these 2 bands. And now what we're going to do is we are going to take 2 more double black bands, and we are going to slide all of these bands onto this black band. And now we have 1/2 of our extension. So I'm going to place this on my holding hook, and this is 1/2 of our extension, and now we are going to repeat. So what we are going to do is we are going to take a single black band, wrap it around 3 times, take 2 more black bands, pull it over, and now we have our 6 pairs of bands, So we have our first pair, and we are just going to pull it over these 2 bands. We have our second pair, pull it over these 2 bands. Our third pair, pull it over. Our fourth pair, pull it over, and we are just pulling these all over our most recent pair of bands, and we're just pulling each pair of 2 bands over the last 2 bands. Whoops. And then one more. And now we have 2 more bands. And we are going to pull everything through. And now we can take this off, and we're going to put it on our holding hook. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to take 2 more bands, and I'm going to pull both of our extensions onto this band, onto these 2 bands. And this makes 1/2 of the extension that we need. Okay, so now that we have made our 1 neck extension, let's make our second one together. So I have my single black band, and I'm going to wrap it around my hook 3 times. Oops. And now I have 2 more black bands. And I'm going to slide this over. And now here I have my 6 pairs of bands, just so I don't lose count. So once again, we'll be pulling these two bands over these two bands. So 1, oops, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And now we can take 2 more black bands and pull this over. And now we'll place this on our holding hook until we're ready to use it. And now once again, we are going to repeat. So we need our starter bands. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. And now we have our 2 bands. We're going to pull this side over. And now we have our 6 pairs of bands. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and now our 2 bands. To pull everything through. And this might just take a second because you just want to make sure that you've got all the bands. And I'm just going to push this. Yep. So now we have something that looks like this. And now we're going to place it on our holding hook. And now we will take our 2 more bands. And we are going to put both sets of extensions onto these 2 bands. So now, as you can see on our holding hook, we have Zelena's arms, Zelena's dress extensions, and Zelena's neck extensions. And the rest of it all, we will be making on our loom. So let's put our loom back into the rectangular configuration and we will start laying bands for Zelena's body. So to start, I will be using 6 pairs of these green bands. They kind of tend to stick together, like this is 2 bands right here, but I will be using 2 bands, so even if you think, oh, she's just using 1 band, this is definitely 2 bands stuck together. So, first I'm going to take my 2 bands and I'm going to place them from here to here. Now I have 2 more bands and these 2 bands are stuck together. And I'm going to place them to the right. And now 2 more bands to the left. And now what we're going to do is we're going to place 2 more bands to the right, 2 more bands to the left, and now we have double bands here. So now we're going to move on to using our black. So now we are going to start using our black bands. So once again, I'm using double bands. So we're going to place 2 black bands here, 2 black bands here, 2 black bands here, 2 black bands here, and now we have 2 black bands here, 2 black bands here, 2 black bands, 2 black bands, okay, and we are not going to place 2 black bands there. We are just going to place 2 black bands here. And then we are going to get our dress extensions. Actually, first we are going to put on our neck extensions because those are first. But before we do that, let's put on our capping bands. So I have 1 black band, and I'm going to wrap it around 1 time on my hook. And I'm going to stretch it across. And now the same thing here, 1 black band, twist it around once, and place it here. And now I'm going to take my neck extension with my fingers. I'm just going to go like this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to place 2 of the loops here. And then I'm going to place 2 of the loops here. And then the same thing on the other side. Okay, so now I have my second neck extension. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it off the hook, and I will place 1 end here. And I will place the other end here. And now I'm just going to stretch it. And we can just leave it like this. So now what we are going to do is we are going to take our dress extension and we are going to want to place this side here. And then we're going to take this one off. And we are going to want to place the opposite side. And this will serve as our capping band. So now we can start looping. So we're going to reach in through these extensions. Oops. You just want to make sure that they don't fall off. And we're going to grab the first 2 bands. And now we're going to grab the next 2. And now to the left. Now to the right. And now what we will do is we will go back in here and we will take these 2 bands and pull them to the left and then to the right. So now what we are going to do is we are going to loop this band first. And then we're going to loop the next band. And now we're going to go back into our green. And we are going to loop out to the side. And okay, so now that we are here, we are going to take our arms off of our hook and we are going to place them. We're going to place one here. And then we are going to place the other one here. So what we're going to do is we are going to reach in through the arm and dress extension. And we are going to reach in until we get the two bands that are going here. And then the same thing here. We are going to reach in through everything. So I've reached in and I have one band. And now I have the other one that goes here. And now we just have one more band in the middle. We're going to grab these. And these go forwards. So now we just have to reach in with our hook. And we're going to take two more bands. And we are going to pull them. Let's start over. We're going to reach in with our hook. Take two bands. And these two bands are holding everything together. So now we can carefully take this off of the loom, but we want to make sure that these stay put. Okay, so this is what the body looks like off of the loom. And now all we have to do is make the head. And then at the end, I'm going to show you how to connect this together. Okay, so before we work on Zelena's face on the loom, we are going to want to make the hair and the hat extensions. So let's make the hair extensions first. We are going to be using our hook. We are going to take a single neon orange band and we're going to wrap it around our hook 4 times. Then what I'm going to do is take another neon orange band, just wrap it around once, and we're going to pull the band that is 4 times over. We're going to place it on our hook, and then we are just going to make a slip knot like this. And we are going to be making 3 of these. So you can just put this to the side. So once again, we're going to take our hook, take a single band, wrap it around 4 times, take another band, wrap it around once, and now we're going to make our slip knot. And now once more, single, wrap around 4 times, wrap this around once, let's start over. We're going to take our single, wrap it around 4 times. Now take our regular band, wrap it around once, pull these bands, and now we're going to make our slip knot. So now we have our 3 little hair pieces. So now what we can do is we can make our hat extension. So for our hat extension, we're going to be making 3 little extensions. And you know what, we're actually just going to do that as we go, so then I won't confuse myself. Okay, so the first thing we are going to do, we are now going to work on our loom. So we're going to take 2 bands from the left, and now we're going to take 2 bands going to the right. Okay, so now we're going to take 2 more bands on each side. And now on our right side, for Zelena's hair, we are going to be using 2 neon orange bands, like this. So now what we can do is we can make our hat extensions. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take 1 band and I'm going to wrap it around 4 times. And now just to give the hat a thicker appearance, we're going to take 3 bands at a time. And we're going to pull this over. And now we're going to take 3 bands again. And this is one side of our hat. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this on the side. Whoops. Okay, so now this is on securely. So now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take our single band, wrap it around 3 or 4 times. Then we're going to take 3 more bands. And place this on our hook. And now 3 more bands. And place them on our hook. And we can place these to the side. And now we need to do the hat extension that is on the top. So we're going to make this one. We are going to take a single band, wrap it around 4 times. We are going to take our 3 bands and place them over. And another 3 bands and place them over. And now we are going to take 2 bands. Okay, so now we can stick this, and this will be the top of our hat. So now what we will do is we are going to place our hair extensions on. So what we're just going to do is actually, you know what? Nope, we are going to take our 2 skin color bands and place them on first. So now we're going to go to this side, and I'm using double bands. Whoops. Okay. And now what we're going to do now, we are going to put on the hair extensions. So, what we are going to do is we just have our hair extension here. We're just going to reach in through the loop, and we are going to place them here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one more single, this time we're using a single green band, and I am going to slide the beads onto the bands. Onto the band, I'm sorry. Okay. So now I have something that looks like this. And I'm just going to place this here. And I am going to lift this up. And this is a trick that I learned from our Loom's Creations. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the dress, and this is the opposite side of where we took it off the loom, and the way to tell is that your neck extension will be in the front of the arms. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place the neck extension here. And now I'm going to loop, and my first bands are going forward, and now we want to make sure that we pull these forwards. And now we want to reach in through the hair extension so that we can get the 2 black bands. And it might take me just a second. So now I've got the 2 black bands. Whoops, pulled forward. And now I'm going to reach in through the eye extension so I can get the 2 red bands for her hair. And then we want to make sure that we pulled the green forwards. And now we're working on our hat. And we're going to reach in past the hat extension. Pull these to the center. Reach in past the hat extension. Pull to the center. And now when everything is pulled to the center, what we are going to do is we are going to reach in through all these bands, and we are going to want to pull a single band through, but don't make your slip knot just yet. Okay, so once we take her off of the loom, this is what she looks like. And I'm going to pull this band over this band to make my slip knot. And then I'm going to take this band and I'm going to place it over her hat. I'm going to flip her over and I'm going to go to the bottom of the dress, and now I'm going to go into the first loop here, and now I'm just going to take a single black band and I'm going to make a slip knot. And now we can do the same thing here. So we're going to do something a little bit differently with the hat because it didn't come out exactly the way I would have liked it to. So we are going to just kind of twist it over to give it more of a hat looking shape. So what we're going to do is we are going to flip our doll around. And now we're going to go into our slip knot here. And we're just going to kind of go like this. And now we're going to take another single black band. And we're going to make a slip knot. So now this kind of makes her hat look more like a hat. And it's not as pointy as I would have liked it to be, but I hope you like it anyway. And also, I think that Zelena's hat wasn't exactly like your standard pointy witch hat. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you had fun making Zelena with me today. I know I had fun making Zelena with you. So I hope you have a great day, and please consider subscribing, and you can follow me on Instagram, which is @booklooms. Bye! See you next week.